At its peak, Nike was more than a company. It was a cultural icon, the swoosh stitched on millions of shoes around the globe. From the tracks where elite athletes chased records to the sidewalks of ordinary cities, Nike stood for aspiration, athleticism, and style. But even cultural icons can falter. By the mid-2020s, that shine began to dim. Revenues shrank. Foot traffic dwindled. Once iconic shoes lost their luster. In 2020, under John Donahoe, Nike made a bold shift. The company moved aggressively toward a direct-to-consumer model. Online sales, brand-owned stores, and internal control over distribution. Wholesale partners, retailers, and third-party stores were gradually cut loose. At first, this pivot seemed prescient. The global pandemic pushed shopping from malls to living rooms. Online sales surged, and Nike's digital platforms flourished. For a moment, it appeared that the future of retail belonged to the brand that controlled the checkout. But as lockdowns ended, reality returned. People wanted to try shoes on. They wanted to feel, to test, to compare. The convenience of online shopping could not replace the physical experience that athletes and consumers valued. By 2024 and 2025, the direct-to-consumer gamble began to show cracks. Digital sales collapsed, wholesale channels remained severed, and physical retail presence had shrunk. Nike's struggles went beyond sales strategy. At the heart of the problem was a slowdown in innovation, the very thing that had made the company great. The company leaned heavily on classic icons, heritage sneakers, lifestyle shoes, familiar, nostalgic, reliable. But over-reliance on legacy designs made Nike vulnerable as consumer tastes evolved. Emerging competitors poured energy into technical running shoes, comfort-forward designs, and fashion-forward sneakers. Brands once considered niche began capturing market share. Nike's once dominant running footwear segment, a cornerstone of performance credibility, shrank sharply. Younger consumers, drawn to innovation, comfort, sustainability, and variety, looked elsewhere. For them, a lifestyle classic was no longer enough, and even long-time loyalists began to question the brand's relevance. Behind the campaigns and glossy marketing, the numbers painted a harsh reality. By 2025, Nike's overall revenue had declined. Digital sales dropped steeply, footwear, the company's backbone, slipped, and apparel underperformed. Inventory overestimation became a serious problem. Overproduction led to unsold stock, forcing heavy discounting that eroded profit margins. At the same time, lingering inflation and global economic uncertainty dampened demand for non-essential items like premium sneakers and sportswear. Nike's troubles did not happen in isolation. Once minor challenges sharpened their edge. Brands like Hoka and On Running began capturing serious market share, especially among performance-oriented consumers. Their technical running shoes, innovative marketing, and focus on comfort and performance appealed to a demographic that Nike's classic lifestyle focus had left behind. Meanwhile, the saturation of lifestyle sneakers diluted the exclusivity that once commanded premium prices. Overproduction made what was once coveted feel ordinary. By retreating from wholesale and third-party retail, Nike lost visibility in the market. Retailers that once carried Nike began stocking competing brands, further eroding reach. By 2025, Nike's dominance was under serious strain. In late 2024, leadership changed. Elliott Hill stepped in as CEO, inheriting a company in flux. He acknowledged the mistakes, too much discounting, a loss of focus on sport and performance, and fractured relationships with retail partners. He promised a return to core strengths: innovation, athlete-driven storytelling, and renewed investment in performance footwear. He also signaled re-engagement with wholesale partners, reversing the strategy that had once seemed so bold. Even with new product launches and marketing efforts, analysts warned that restoration would take years. Inventory overhang remained. Consumer sentiment was fragile. Competitors continue to evolve. The story of Nike's decline is not one of sudden catastrophe. It is a slow unraveling, a cultural icon grappling with structural shifts in retail, evolving consumer tastes, global economic pressures, and its own strategic missteps. Nike's fall is not final, perhaps not even inevitable. But for the first time in decades, the company stands not as the undisputed giant of sportswear, but as a brand forced to reckon with agility, relevance, and reinvention.